what I've learned in my own personal healing journey from some of the deep core wounds that I've elected to have in this go around the planet.
Yeah.
Rachel, what's gotten me through is a deep, deep sense of connection to divine spirit and the universal all, and that it's a loving presence. And when I had to heal some of the deep wounds that I had, really the only thing for me that allowed it to heal is that really solidifying that connection with source. And I wonder I just don't know how other people actually would ever be able to truly heal the parent wound without thinking of source really ultimately being from elsewhere in the first place. You know what I mean? Otherwise, anything to me would seem to be just a pathetic substitute, frankly, for something else. What else could heal that wound of where you come from, your essence, your core, your source, than having I don't want to call it God, but just a belief in something else. So how do people who don't believe in something else heal those deep wounds? I mean, really heal them?
I don't really know. I think it's easier if you believe in God or spirit and all that. I think it's much easier. I also think it's easier when there's a greater force, because there is a humility that you have to have in front of it. And the same way you become humble in front of spirit, you become humble in your self-awareness. So moving, like we said, from victim means that it's an easy place to be. It's a comfortable place to be. And there is no growth. And I think that, I don't even really know how to express it. I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. I don't really know how someone who believes in absolutely nothing heals. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't.
Something to think about, right? Or just for our audience and all of us to really consider.
I think everyone that I've worked with has had some kind of belief, whether it was a religion and they thought, of it as Jesus, or just, in a large way, like you and I, and we call it spirit. I don't know that I worked with anyone who thinks, no, it's this life and there's nothing else. And when we die, there's nothing. And I'm not sure I worked with someone like that. And I think that when you believe in something greater, it is easier to heal. Because you also feel like, I've come this far in my journey and the rest is just too painful and I have to give it up to God.
There you go.
So it might also be an element of that, of I'm going to work as hard as I can, but I'm going to need some help. And I think if you don't feel supported that way, it must be a much harder journey.
And that's where the word surrender comes in that we hear so often, and the first step is being humble. I love that you're mentioning that, is that I don't know what to do. I've tried everything my little ego brain personality can try, and I have to offer it up, because surrendering isn't just giving up and throwing in the towel. It's opening. So to me, surrendering is opening to another way, being receptive to let it in, being open. And too many people are too fixated because they're protecting themselves, or like they don't they don't want to take the criticism or whatever, or they just they don't want to feel that lack of control, because being surrendering and opening is a complete, it's a what's it called, a trust dive. You have no idea at all. So I often say on the show, it takes courage to live. I mean, live, not exist, live. Living takes courage, because it's so much of the unknown. And that's what, back to my comment earlier, I really just don't know how people don't believe in something to give them courage to go into the unknown, right?
Yeah, unless it's someone who feels that this is their only life, and so they're going to make the most out of it. And so why would they spend their time harping on this one person who let them down, and being determined to live life as full as possible? That I can see.
I love that. That's a great point.